mysterious King Charles painting and the events surrounding it. On the 14th of May 2024, the art world and the public were abuzz as a highly anticipated painting of King Charles was revealed to the public. This painting, unlike any other royal portrait, sparked immediate intrigue and debate, not only for its striking use of colour, but also for the curious events that seemed to surround its unveiling. The portrait, predominantly red, depicted King Charles in a hauntingly regal yet almost ominous light. The artistic choice itself raised eyebrows, but what truly captured the public's imagination was an eerie event that had taken place just weeks prior, a bloody white horse seen galloping through the streets of London. The sighting of this horse, drenched in red and running wildly, coincided too closely with the painting's unveiling for many to ignore. Was this an elaborate coincidence, a symbolic gesture, or something more mysterious? Royal portraits traditionally serve to reflect stability, majesty, and the continuity of the monarchy. They often present the sovereign in a dignified, almost serene light, designed to convey authority and respectability. However, the red portrait of King Charles immediately stood out for its stark departure from this tradition. The image was not merely one of royal splendor, but carried an unsettling edge. The heavy use of red evoked connotations of blood, power, and passion, and it dominated the canvas in such a way that it overshadowed the usual trappings of royalty. The portrait was painted by Jonathan Yeo, and he said that his signature style is to place greater emphasis on capturing the sitter's character and essence. Despite the artist's explanation, many could not help but feel that the portrait conveyed a more ominous tone. On April 24th, Londoners witnessed a strange and unsettling sight, a white horse, streaked with what appeared to be blood, running wildly through the city streets. Witnesses described the horse as appearing distressed, its white coat stained with red, as if it had either been injured or splattered with blood. For many, the timing of the bloody white horse's appearance was too strange to be a mere coincidence. In folklore and mythology, white horses often symbolize purity, freedom, and nobility, but when combined with the image of blood, the symbolism becomes far darker. To some, the horse was a harbinger of chaos or impending tragedy. When the red painting of King Charles was revealed weeks later, the connection seemed undeniable to those inclined to look for deeper meaning. The combination of the horse's sudden appearance and the unsettling, blood-like hues of the painting led many to wonder if the two were linked by more than just coincidence. Theories surrounding the painting and the horse quickly spread across social media and forums. Some believed that the painting was meant to foreshadow political unrest, or even the downfall of the monarchy itself, with the blood symbolizing either conflict or sacrifice. The timing of the horse's appearance led some to draw parallels between King Charles and other historical rulers whose reigns were marked by turbulence. The idea of a bloody white horse racing through the streets of London, only to be followed by a royal portrait drenched in red, seemed to some like a deliberate message, whether from the artist, from nature, or from something more supernatural. Deep-sea divers find Atlantis metal inside an old shipwreck. An expedition of naval archaeologists has discovered a total of 200 ingots scattered across the sandy seafloor in close proximity to a shipwreck that occurred thousands of years ago off the coast of Sicily. The ingots were crafted from orichalcum, an uncommon cast metal attributed to the mythological city of Atlantis, according to the early Greek philosopher Plato. News outlets reported the discovery of 39 ingots, which are metal pieces assembled into rectangular blocks in close proximity to a shipwreck. Researchers have reported the discovery of another identical metal stash. An additional 47 ingots were discovered, bringing the total number of metal pieces discovered hence far to 89. The wreck was found in 1988, present approximately 300 meters offshore Gela in Sicily. During the period of the shipwreck, Gela was a prosperous city with numerous industries engaged in the production of exquisite furniture. Scientists hypothesize that the fragments of orichalcum were intended for those laboratories at the time of the ship's sinking. According to Sebastiano Tusa, the district administrator of the Sea Office in Sicily, the valuable ingots are likely to have been transported to Sicily from either Greece or Asia Minor. According to Tusa, the unearthing of orichalcum ingots, which were previously regarded as a mysterious metal, holds great importance since no comparable artifacts have ever been discovered. Plato documented that the Temple of Poseidon and Cleito in Atlantis had 3 external walls, each covered with bronze, tin, and the third wall, which completely encircled the citadel, was illuminated by the red light of orichalcum. The temple's inner walls, pillars, and flooring were exclusively adorned with orichalcum, while the roof was adorned with gold, silver, and orichalcum mosaics. Situated at the heart of the temple was a pillar made of orichalcum, which bore the laws of Poseidon and the records of the first sun princes of Poseidon. Throughout decades, specialists have engaged in intense discussions over the composition and source of the metal. Lou Elizondo claims he personally held materials recovered from the infamous Roswell incident. In the world of UFO and extraterrestrial research, few figures have captured as much attention in recent years as Lou Elizondo, a former Pentagon intelligence officer who has become a leading voice in advocating for greater transparency around unidentified aerial phenomena. However, one of his most sensational revelations that was made a few days ago is his assertion that he personally held materials recovered from the infamous Roswell incident, an event long regarded as one of the most important and mysterious in UFO lore. This statement, made by Elizondo in various interviews, has added a new dimension to the ongoing debate about the Roswell crash, in which many believe a UFO crashed in the New Mexico desert, with the US military recovering alien technology. Elizondo's claim that he physically handled material from this crash has reignited interest in the case, and has lent new credibility to the long-standing theory that the US government has been concealing evidence of extraterrestrial contact for decades. Over the years, numerous witnesses have come forward, claiming that they saw alien bodies and advanced technology being transported from the crash site. The incident has become the cornerstone of modern UFO conspiracy theories, with many believing that the US government has been hiding the truth about Roswell and extraterrestrial contact for more than 70 years. Lou Elizondo, who served as the director of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program from 2008 until his resignation in 2017, is a respected figure within military intelligence. Elizondo's work brought him into contact with classified information about UFOs, and since leaving the Pentagon, he has been vocal about the need for greater transparency on the subject. His decision to speak publicly about the US government's UFO investigations has made him a central figure in the ongoing push to declassify information about UFOs and the potential for extraterrestrial contact. Among the many revelations Lou Elizondo has made, his claim about the Roswell incident is perhaps the most explosive. In an interview, Elizondo has stated that during his time working within the Pentagon, he was given access to materials recovered from the Roswell crash site. According to Elizondo, these materials were of non-terrestrial origin, meaning they were not created by any known human technology. Even more significantly, Elizondo claims that he physically handled these materials, providing him with first-hand knowledge of their unusual properties. The mystery of the Warminster Thing. The Warminster Thing remains one of the most mysterious and perplexing UFO phenomena to ever grip the United Kingdom. It all began on Christmas Day in 1964, when residents of the small town of Warminster, Wiltshire, were awakened by a series of terrifying, unexplained noises. The sounds were described as loud bangs, rattling roofs, and an eerie humming that filled the air. Witnesses claimed it felt as though some invisible force was pressing down upon them, and yet, despite the intensity of these sounds, nothing visible could be found to explain them. Soldiers stationed at the nearby army base were among the first to report the disturbances. Some described the noise as resembling the impact of an entire rooftop being torn off and slammed back down. Others likened it to thousands of roof tiles shattering at the same time. By the end of that fateful day, over 30 people had come forward, each with the same chilling account of strange, untraceable sounds that seemed to emerge from nowhere. Yet, despite the widespread panic and concern, authorities could not provide a rational explanation. In the months that followed, the situation in Warminster grew even stranger. By February of 1965, residents began to witness unexplained aerial phenomena in the night sky. At the same time, an entire flock of pigeons mysteriously died, their lifeless bodies scattered across the town without any apparent cause. Then, as if something unseen was exerting a force upon the town itself, homes began to shake violently, as if being struck by an invisible wave of energy. The reports of strange flying objects intensified, with many describing cigar-shaped glowing crafts hovering in the sky. News of the Warminster thing spread quickly, capturing national attention. The town became a focal point for UFO researchers, journalists, and curious visitors, all eager to witness the phenomenon firsthand. Over the August bank holiday of 1965, an estimated 8,000 people flooded into Warminster, hoping for a glimpse of the mysterious craft that so many had reported. Their hopes were not unfounded, as many that night claimed to see strange lights moving unnaturally across the sky. The following month, the most significant piece of evidence surfaced. Local resident Gordon Faulkner managed to capture a photograph of the alleged UFO. His image, showing a dark, disc-like craft, was published in the Daily Mirror, further fueling the town's growing reputation as the UK's UFO capital. The story spread far beyond Britain, with newspapers as far away as California covering the bizarre events unfolding in Warminster. The phenomenon had become a global sensation. As the months passed, sightings continued, with witnesses describing balls of crimson light floating silently above the town. Others spoke of a deep, droning sound, so powerful that it caused their floors and beds to shake uncontrollably. Some even claimed to feel an unseen force pressing down upon them, making movement difficult and filling them with an overwhelming sense of unease. The intensity and consistency of these reports made it impossible to dismiss the Warminster thing as mere hysteria. Interest in the mystery led to a surge in research efforts. The BBC produced a documentary titled Pie in the Sky, exploring the strange occurrences in Warminster and the accounts of those who had experienced them firsthand. Meanwhile, journalist and UFO researcher Arthur Shuttlewood, one of the town's most vocal witnesses, documented the events in a series of books. His writing attracted even more attention to Warminster and established it as a key location in the study of unexplained aerial phenomena. Around the same time, a local UFO enthusiast named Ken Rogers launched the Warminster UFO newsletter, dedicated to cataloguing and analysing new reports of unusual activity in the area. Throughout the late 1960s, sightings continued sporadically, and reports of bizarre sounds persisted. Some researchers speculated that Warminster, due to its proximity to military sites and ancient structures such as Stonehenge, might be an area of heightened electromagnetic activity, possibly attracting or interacting with unknown entities. Others suggested that the events were part of a government cover-up or secret military experiments, though no official explanation was ever given. By the early 1970s, reports of the Warminster thing began to decline. Sightings became less frequent, and the strange noises that had once haunted the town seemingly faded away. Yet, despite the apparent end of the phenomenon, the mystery of what happened in Warminster remains unsolved to this day. Theories abound, ranging from extraterrestrial visitations and interdimensional encounters to unknown energy sources or top-secret military technology. None, however, can fully account for the sheer number of consistent, credible witnesses who all described eerily similar experiences. Even now, Warminster retains its legacy as one of the most well-documented UFO hotspots in British history. Every year, researchers and UFO enthusiasts continue to visit, hoping to uncover new evidence or experience something extraordinary themselves. The Warminster thing remains one of the most compelling cases of unexplained aerial phenomena, a mystery that refuses to be forgotten. The mysterious case of Kendrick Johnson. On January 11, 2013, the 17-year-old's body was discovered rolled up inside a vertical gym mat at Lowndes High School in Valdosta, Georgia. Law enforcement quickly ruled his death an accident, stating that he had fallen into the mat while reaching for a sneaker. However, the circumstances surrounding his death raised numerous questions, leading his family to believe that foul play was involved. Nearly a decade later, the case continues to spark debates and speculation, as many remain unconvinced by the official narrative. The initial autopsy concluded that Kendrick had died from positional asphyxia, meaning he suffocated due to being stuck upside down for an extended period. Within just 24 hours of discovering Kendrick, investigators ruled the case an accident and moved forward without considering any other possibilities. The explanation given was that Johnson had stored his shoes inside the mat to avoid paying for a locker and, in attempting to retrieve them, had fallen headfirst into the mat and become trapped. His parents and other critics found this conclusion difficult to accept, arguing that too many inconsistencies existed in the official explanation. One of the most puzzling aspects of the case was the dimensions of the mat in which Kendrick was found. The mat, when rolled up, had a diameter of approximately 14 inches, while Johnson's shoulders measured 19 inches across. This discrepancy raised doubts about whether he could have accidentally fallen inside the mat in the first place. His parents maintained that it would have been physically impossible for him to fit into the small opening without assistance or force. Furthermore, the positioning of his body, one arm above his head and another near his waist, did not align with the theory that he was simply reaching for his shoe. Blood evidence in the gym also added to the mystery. Beneath Kendrick's body, a single sneaker was found lying on top of a pool of blood. However, curiously, the shoe itself had no blood on it, a detail that many found suspicious. A hoodie and another pair of gym shoes were discovered nearby. Despite these discoveries, authorities determined that the bloodstains on the wall were unrelated to Kendrick's demise. His parents believed this evidence was ignored, further fueling their suspicions that a cover-up was at play. From the very beginning, the Johnson family was skeptical of the investigation's handling. They argued that law enforcement had been too quick to dismiss foul play and close the case. Lowndes County Coroner Bill Watson supported some of their concerns, revealing that he had not been notified of Kendrick's demise until 6 hours after the body was discovered, a violation of Georgia law. Additionally, Kendrick's parents questioned why no one in the school, which housed over 3,000 students, had heard their son calling for help if he had indeed become trapped inside the mat. The family released a photograph of Kendrick's face from the funeral home, which showed his face severely swollen and almost unrecognizable. This image horrified the public and reignited concerns that something more sinister had happened. The growing outrage led the Johnson family to seek a second autopsy. The results of this independent examination starkly contradicted the official findings. The private pathologist determined that Kendrick had suffered hemorrhaging on the right side of his neck, indicating blunt force trauma, and concluded that his passing was not an accident. Further intensifying the controversy, the second autopsy also revealed that many of Kendrick's internal organs were missing and had been replaced with newspaper. This revelation outraged the Johnson family, who accused the funeral home of mishandling their son's remains. The funeral home, however, claimed they had received the body from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation without the organs, which had allegedly been too decomposed to return after the initial autopsy. To this day, the whereabouts of Kendrick's missing organs remain unknown. Adding to the intrigue, surveillance footage from the gym on the day of Kendrick's disappearance was found to be incomplete. A full hour of footage was missing at the crucial time when he was last seen alive. The missing footage only heightened suspicions that evidence had been tampered with or deliberately erased. While the school claimed technical issues were responsible for the gaps in the recording, many found this explanation unconvincing. In 2015, the Johnson family escalated their fight for justice by filing a $100 million civil lawsuit against nearly 40 individuals, including school officials, law enforcement officers, and members of the FBI. They accused the sons of an FBI agent of being involved in Kendrick's passing and using their connections to orchestrate a cover-up. However, Kendrick's father later admitted that they had no hard evidence to support these claims. The lawsuit was eventually dropped, and the Johnsons were ordered to pay nearly $300,000 in attorney fees for those they had accused without evidence. Despite the setbacks, Kendrick's case has remained in the public consciousness, with many continuing to call for further investigations. In 2021, the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office reopened the case, reviewing thousands of pages of documents and dozens of hours of video footage. However, after months of re-examination, they once again ruled Kendrick's demise as an accident, stating that there was no evidence of foul play. Mysterious photograph shows a transparent object hiding in the clouds. A mysterious photograph of a circular, disc-shaped object in the clouds has recently gained attention after being uploaded to Facebook. The user who posted the image did not disclose their location, adding to the intrigue surrounding the sighting. What makes this particular photograph so unusual is that the object appears to be transparent, yet its presence seems to disrupt the surrounding clouds. The eyewitness described it as stationary, with the clouds visibly moving around it, suggesting that the object had a solid form. The image has since been widely shared among online UFO investigation groups, with many speculating about what it could be. Some believe it could be evidence of an advanced, unidentified flying object using some form of cloaking technology, allowing it to blend into the sky while still affecting its surroundings. Others argue that it may be a rare atmospheric phenomenon or an optical illusion created by the interplay of light and shadow within the clouds. Despite various theories, no definitive explanation has emerged. Some suggest that the object could be a naturally occurring lenticular cloud, known for their disc-like appearance, or even a photographic anomaly. However, those who believe in extraterrestrial activity see the image as potential proof that unidentified crafts may be observing Earth while remaining hidden in plain sight. The discussion surrounding the photograph continues to grow as more people analyze the details of the image. Without additional information about the time, location, or circumstances of the sighting, it remains one of many unexplained aerial phenomena that have sparked debate in the UFO community. Whether the photograph captures an alien craft, a secret military aircraft, or simply a trick of the light, it has certainly left many questioning what might be hiding within the clouds above. The mystery of FRB 121102. Fast radio bursts, or FRBs, are among the most perplexing and intriguing cosmic phenomena ever detected. These brief, yet incredibly powerful pulses of radio waves originate from deep space, lasting only milliseconds before disappearing without a trace. While most FRBs appear as one-time occurrences, one particular source, known as FRB 121102, has challenged scientists' understanding of these mysterious signals. Unlike other FRBs which flash and vanish, this mysterious FRB has repeated itself over 150 times, making it the only known repeating fast radio burst to date. The first signal from FRB 121102 was detected on November 2, 2012, by the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. This discovery was groundbreaking, as it marked the first time an FRB had been observed more than once. Over the years, researchers have continued to receive bursts from the same location, raising questions about its origin. Using powerful telescopes, scientists have traced these signals to a small dwarf galaxy located approximately 3 billion light-years away. Despite identifying the galaxy of origin, they have yet to determine the precise source responsible for the bursts. One theory suggests that this FRB is generated by a highly magnetized neutron star known as a magnetar. Magnetars are young, dense remnants of supernova explosions that possess extremely strong magnetic fields, which could theoretically produce the kind of energy needed to emit FRBs. However, some scientists have proposed another theory, one that suggests this FRB may not be entirely natural. Some researchers have speculated that the signals could be the byproduct of advanced extraterrestrial technology. According to this hypothesis, the FRBs could be artificial signals produced by an alien civilization, possibly as a means of powering spacecraft or interstellar probes. While this idea remains purely speculative, it raises fascinating questions about the potential existence of intelligent life beyond Earth. Scientists largely dismiss the notion that these signals were deliberately sent as a means of communication, given that they originated 3 billion years ago, long before human civilization existed. The mystery of this FRB continues to challenge scientists as they attempt to uncover its true nature. With advancements in radio astronomy and the deployment of more sophisticated telescopes, researchers hope to gain further insights into these strange bursts. This 1996 photo shows a black helicopter chasing a UFO. The 1996 photograph taken in Florida remains one of the most compelling and controversial pieces of evidence in the study of unidentified flying objects. Captured in broad daylight, the image depicts a highly detailed silver disc-shaped craft hovering in the sky, while a black military-style helicopter with no visible insignia flies close by. This photograph has since been widely circulated among UFO enthusiasts and researchers, fueling speculation about the nature of the unidentified object and the involvement of government or military forces in monitoring or perhaps even engaging with, these mysterious crafts. The clarity of the photograph is what makes it stand out among the countless other images of UFOs. Unlike many blurred or grainy images that often leave room for skepticism, this image provides a sharp and distinct view of the craft's metallic surface, smooth structure, and classic disc shape. The presence of the black helicopter is equally fascinating, as it aligns with thousands of witness testimonies from around the world that describe similar aircraft appearing whenever a UFO is sighted. Many believe that these helicopters are either covert military units tasked with tracking extraterrestrial activity or part of an advanced defense system designed to engage unidentified aerial phenomena. Eyewitness reports from that day suggest that the UFO and the helicopter were engaged in a chase, with the unidentified craft moving at high speeds while the helicopter attempted to keep up. Some accounts claim that the disc-shaped object made rapid, impossible maneuvers before vanishing, leaving the helicopter behind. The lack of official acknowledgement from government authorities only adds to the mystery, as there has been no explanation for what was seen in the sky that day. Speculation surrounding the event has led to several theories. Some researchers argue that the object could have been a secretive military aircraft undergoing testing, with the black helicopter acting as an escort. However, some question why an advanced aircraft would be flown in public view, let alone captured in such a clear photograph. Others believe that the disc was an extraterrestrial craft being observed or pursued by military forces, raising questions about the extent of government knowledge regarding unidentified aerial phenomena. The association between black helicopters and UFO sightings has long been a topic of discussion in the UFO community. Reports of unmarked helicopters appearing in close proximity to unidentified flying objects date back decades, with many witnesses claiming that these aircraft exhibit highly coordinated maneuvers and often seem to arrive shortly after a UFO sighting. Some theorists suggest that the helicopters belong to a classified government program that actively monitors UFO activity, while others believe they could be part of a more clandestine operation working in conjunction with extraterrestrial forces. Despite the many theories and ongoing debate, the 1996 Florida photograph remains one of the most intriguing pieces of evidence in the UFO phenomenon. Its clarity, combined with the presence of the black helicopter, provides a rare and compelling look at an event that defies conventional explanation. As the conversation surrounding unidentified aerial phenomena continues to gain momentum, images like this serve as a reminder that there are still many mysteries in our skies that remain unsolved. The mysterious handbags. The mysterious handbags depicted in ancient Sumerian art have intrigued historians and researchers for years. These curious objects, often shown in the hands of deities, priests, or mythical figures, appear in numerous Sumerian reliefs and sculptures, raising questions about their significance. While modern interpretations range from practical containers to symbols of divine power or esoteric knowledge, their true purpose remains a mystery. The recurring presence of these handbags in Sumerian artwork suggests that they held profound cultural and religious meaning, potentially serving as sacred objects or representations of wisdom, sustenance, or cosmic balance. Sumerian civilization, one of the earliest known societies, thrived in Mesopotamia around 3100 BCE. As pioneers of written language, advanced agriculture, and architectural innovation, the Sumerians left behind a vast legacy of artifacts and texts. Among their artistic depictions, images of gods, demigods, and rulers holding these handbag-like objects stand out. These artifacts are often shown in conjunction with the sacred tree of life or celestial beings, further hinting at their deeper symbolic significance. Some scholars argue that the handbags represent divine authority, as only deities or high-ranking figures are depicted carrying them. The association between these objects and religious rituals suggests they may have been linked to sacred offerings or the transmission of divine wisdom. The resemblance of these handbags to objects found in other ancient cultures has fueled additional speculation. Similar motifs appear in the art of the Olmecs in Mesoamerica, the ancient Egyptians, and even in rock carvings from Göbekli Tepe, one of the oldest known temples on Earth. This widespread occurrence raises the possibility that the handbag symbol may represent a universal concept shared across different civilizations. Some researchers propose that the handbag symbolizes a vessel of sacred knowledge containing the secrets of the gods. Others believe it represents a tool for spiritual enlightenment or a physical object used in religious ceremonies. One of the more controversial theories surrounding these handbags is the idea that they may be linked to advanced ancient technology or even extraterrestrial influence. Some proponents of the ancient astronaut theory suggest that these objects could represent sophisticated devices, possibly used by highly advanced beings who interacted with early civilizations. While mainstream archaeology does not support such claims, the consistent depiction of these handbags in sacred contexts continues to spark curiosity and debate. The possibility that these objects held technological or astronomical significance cannot be entirely ruled out, especially given the advanced understanding of astronomy and mathematics that the Sumerians possessed. Another perspective is that the handbags symbolize the cyclical nature of life and the cosmos. The curved top and rectangular bottom of the handbags resemble the ancient representations of the sky and earth, suggesting a connection between the heavens and the physical world. Some interpretations link them to the concept of balance and duality, embodying the relationship between material and spiritual existence. In this view, the handbags serve as a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things, reinforcing the idea of divine order in the universe. Despite extensive research and numerous theories, the true meaning of the Sumerian handbags remains elusive. Without written records explicitly explaining their significance, scholars are left to piece together clues from artwork and comparative mythology. Whether these objects were purely symbolic or had a functional role in Sumerian society, their presence in ancient art suggests that they were of great importance to the people who depicted them. As new discoveries continue to emerge, perhaps one day the mystery of the Sumerian handbags will be fully understood, shedding light on one of history's most intriguing artistic motifs. Mysterious 1950s photograph shows 9 objects vanishing in the night sky. The discovery made in the 1950s of 9 mysterious objects appearing and then vanishing from the night sky remains one of the most perplexing astronomical anomalies ever recorded. Astronomers at the Palomar Observatory in Southern California, while conducting the well-known Palomar Sky Survey, observed that 9 star-like points of light had suddenly emerged in one of their photographic plates. What made this event truly unusual was that these objects were completely absent in previous images of the same section of the sky, and even more mysteriously, did not appear in any subsequent images. Despite advances in modern astronomy and the use of more powerful telescopes, no trace of these vanished stars has ever been found. Recently, a team of scientists led by Beatrice Villarroel revisited this strange case in a new study published in the Astronomical Journal. Their research highlights that there is no known astrophysical process that could cause a star to simply disappear unless it collapses directly into a black hole. Such a phenomenon would be incredibly rare and would still likely leave behind some detectable evidence, such as a gravitational wave or a high-energy burst. The researchers suggested that if stars truly can vanish without explanation, the implications could reach far beyond traditional astrophysics and might even hint at the presence of technologically advanced extraterrestrial civilizations. One hypothesis the researchers propose is that the missing stars may indicate the existence of Dyson spheres. A Dyson sphere is a theoretical megastructure that an advanced civilization could build around a star to capture its energy output. The idea that a highly developed species could be capable of constructing such large-scale energy-harnessing technology is one of the more fascinating explanations for the sudden disappearance of these celestial objects. The researchers conducting the study have also identified specific hotspots, areas in the sky where an unusually high number of stars seem to have disappeared. They argue that by focusing their investigations on these regions, they may be able to gather more evidence that could support the possibility of extraterrestrial life. If the disappearing stars were due to advanced civilizations harnessing stellar energy, it could provide the first tangible evidence of intelligent life beyond Earth. Despite this exciting prospect, many scientists remain skeptical. Throughout history, seemingly mysterious cosmic phenomena have often turned out to have natural explanations. Some researchers argue that the missing stars could be due to less extraordinary reasons, such as instrumental errors in the photographic plates, undiscovered natural astrophysical processes, or even cosmic dust obscuring the stars from view. Without definitive proof, Many scientists are hesitant to conclude that extraterrestrial activity is involved. However, even if alien civilizations are not responsible for these vanishing stars, the case still presents an opportunity for major discoveries in the field of astrophysics. Villarroel and her team stress that finding a star that truly vanishes or appears out of nowhere would be groundbreaking. It could suggest new physical mechanisms at play in the universe that are currently unknown to science. Whether the cause of the disappearing stars is natural or artificial, solving this mystery would likely expand humanity's understanding of the cosmos in an unprecedented way. To unravel this mystery, researchers plan to continue monitoring these regions of the sky, utilizing more advanced observational techniques and collaborating with international space agencies. By leveraging the capabilities of next-generation telescopes, such as the James Webb Space Telescope, scientists hope to either locate evidence of extraterrestrial megastructures or uncover a new branch of astrophysics that challenges current scientific understanding. For now, the mystery of the vanished stars remains unsolved. The mysterious seals. The ancient Sumerians, one of the earliest known civilizations in human history, left behind a rich and mysterious legacy that continues to intrigue scholars and enthusiasts alike. Among their most fascinating artifacts are the seals, small, intricately carved objects made of stone, clay, or metal that served a variety of purposes in Sumerian society. These seals are not only remarkable works of art, but also contain inscriptions and symbols that offer tantalizing glimpses into the religious, political, and cultural life of ancient Mesopotamia. Within numerous seals, peculiar dots and unidentified objects are often observed, raising questions and intrigue. These strange elements spark curiosity and speculation among researchers and enthusiasts, adding a layer of mystery to their creation. The origins of these carvings have been a subject of much speculation and debate, with conflicting interpretations emerging over time. Some individuals believe that these intricate carvings depict celestial bodies such as planets, attributing a cosmic significance to them. On the other hand, an opposing viewpoint suggests that in several of the seals that have been discovered, there have been notable findings of larger objects that have sparked discussions about possible connections to unidentified artifacts from antiquity. These discoveries have stirred speculation and theories among researchers and scholars regarding the existence of unidentified objects during ancient times. Ancient records reveal that the first documented UFO sighting dates back thousands of years, challenging the common belief that UFO reports are a recent phenomenon. Both the ancient Sumerians and Egyptians documented encounters with peculiar objects in the sky, sparking interpretations that these sightings influenced the creation of their deities. It is intriguing to consider that these civilizations attributed divine origins to these celestial phenomena, viewing them as bestowers of gifts from the heavens. Some scholars speculate that the concept of gods in ancient cultures may have been shaped by these early UFO encounters, shedding light on the profound impact these sightings had on shaping belief systems and cultural practices in ancient civilizations. This historical perspective prompts us to re-evaluate our understanding of ancient civilizations and their interactions with the unexplained, fostering a deeper appreciation for the complexities of human beliefs and interpretations across different eras and civilizations. Sumerian seals were used for a variety of purposes in ancient Mesopotamia, ranging from administrative and economic functions to religious and ceremonial rituals. One of the most common uses of seals was as a means of authentication and identification, with individuals pressing their seals into wet clay or wax to seal documents, containers, and other objects. These seals typically bore the name, title, or symbol of the owner, allowing them to mark their possessions and establish ownership. In addition to their practical functions, Sumerian seals also played a crucial role in religious and ceremonial contexts. Many seals were inscribed with religious symbols, mythical creatures, and scenes from Sumerian mythology, reflecting the importance of religion in Sumerian society. These seals were often used in rituals and ceremonies to invoke the protection of the gods, ward off evil spirits, and ensure the success of various endeavors. One of the most intriguing aspects of Sumerian seals is their intricate craftsmanship and artistic detail. Sumerian artisans were skilled craftsmen, capable of creating exquisite works of art using simple tools and materials. The seals were typically carved with great precision and attention to detail, with motifs ranging from geometric patterns and floral designs to elaborate mythological scenes and divine beings. The symbolism depicted on Sumerian seals offers valuable insights into the religious beliefs and cosmology of ancient Mesopotamia. Many seals feature representations of gods, goddesses, and mythical creatures, such as the divine bull, the winged lion, and the sacred tree of life. These symbols were believed to possess magical and protective powers, serving as talismans and amulets to ward off evil and bring good fortune. Despite the wealth of information contained in Sumerian seals, much about them remains shrouded in mystery. The exact purpose and significance of many seals are still unclear, and scholars continue to debate their meanings and interpretations. Some seals feature inscriptions in the Sumerian cuneiform script, but many of these inscriptions have yet to be deciphered, leaving their messages and meanings unknown. Furthermore, the origin and production techniques of Sumerian seals are a subject of ongoing research and speculation. While some seals were made of stone or metal and carved with simple tools, others were fashioned from clay and molded using intricate techniques. The process of seal making was likely a highly specialized craft, passed down through generations of artisans and craftsmen. The mystery of Sumerian seals extends beyond their physical appearance and symbolism to their broader cultural and historical context. The seals are often found in archaeological contexts, alongside other artifacts, such as clay tablets, pottery, and sculptures, providing valuable clues about the daily life, social organization, and economic activities of ancient Sumerian society. A team of scientists claim they found old wood inside the real Noah's Ark. The Durupinar site has fascinated researchers for decades due to its association with Noah's Ark, long believed to have come to rest on the mountains of Turkey. When images of the boat-shaped formation were first released, many believers saw them as definitive proof of the biblical vessel's existence. Over the years, additional images have continued to fuel speculation, prompting calls for deeper scientific investigation. A dedicated group of researchers has claimed to have found compelling evidence supporting the theory that remnants of an ancient boat may indeed exist at the site, adding further intrigue to the long-standing mystery. During a press conference in Hong Kong on April 25, 2010, a team of researchers from China and Turkey made an extraordinary announcement. They revealed the discovery of wooden structures at the site, suggesting that these remains could be part of Noah's Ark. The findings sparked immense excitement, particularly among religious communities who had long held the conviction that the Ark lay hidden in the region. The research team's work, combined with their extensive documentation, provided what they believed to be tangible evidence supporting the historical narrative of the Ark. Photographs of the site astounded many, as they appeared to show large wooden structures buried within the mountain. The sheer presence of such materials in this location raised questions, as wood would typically deteriorate over time. Scientists involved in the research acknowledged their initial skepticism, but found the discovery fascinating. One researcher questioned how a ship could have ended up at such a high altitude, pointing out that the only historical reference to a large wooden structure on Mount Ararat was that of Noah's Ark. This, they argued, made the likelihood of the finding being the Ark incredibly high, with no alternative explanation rivaling its plausibility. To support their claims, the research team conducted carbon dating on wood samples retrieved from the site. The results suggested that the material was over 4,800 years old, aligning with the biblical timeline of the Great Flood. Turkish government officials also acknowledged the discovery, adding credibility to the claim that the site could indeed represent the final resting place of the legendary vessel. In an effort to ensure the legitimacy of their findings, the team invited other scientists to examine the site, hoping to garner wider support within the academic community. Despite these efforts, skepticism remains. Some scientists argue that the tests conducted on the samples do not conclusively prove the structure's origin. Others have questioned the reliability of radiocarbon dating, urging further verification. Their publication sought to solidify the authenticity of their discovery and was supported by Turkish officials and experts in the field. The Durupinar site continues to spark debate, drawing interest from both scientific and religious communities. Whether or not the wooden remains belong to Noah's Ark, the discovery has reignited discussions about ancient history, natural disasters, and the validity of long-standing myths. The mystery of the Hopkinsville Goblin. It is believed that the Hopkinsville Goblin is an extraterrestrial species of unknown origin that was first encountered in the United States in the small town of Hopkinsville, located in the state of Kentucky. The creature is not an individual entity, but rather a collection of similarly described humanoid figures that were encountered by the residents of the Sutton farmhouse, located nearby the town of Kelly in Christian County and the town of Hopkinsville. The creatures were described as being between 2 to 4 feet tall and possessing large pointed ears, hands that looked closer to that of claws, large eyes that glowed a yellow hue, and thin, spindly legs. Reported in detail on the 21st of August in the year 1955, there was an impossible-to-explain incident that led to researchers theorizing that a previously unknown description of strange beings, later provided with the name of the Hopkinsville Goblins, had landed nearby a Kentucky farmhouse and made first contact with a family of 12 and demonstrated malevolent behavior that manifested into a vicious attack lasting for several hours. According to the police report surrounding the incident, the Hopkinsville Police Department reported that 5 adults and 7 children entered the police station with erratic behavior, having been described by the officers as appearing to be distraught and in a panic. The group of adults and children then reported to the police department that they had been in a gunfight lasting for more than 4 hours after a group of small alien creatures had come out of a nearby spaceship and began to attack them at their farmhouse. According to 2 witnesses of the event, 2 adults by the name of Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor, they claimed that there had been somewhere between 12 to 15 short humanoid figures that had repeatedly made an appearance at the doorway and peered in through the windows. In fear for their lives and unsure of what the creatures wanted, the invading creatures forced the family to open fire to prevent the unknown creatures from entering the home. As they would shoot the creatures, the witnesses claimed that the unknown monsters would make a loud pinging noise that sounded like the bullets were ricocheting off a metallic surface, causing the creatures to then fall to the floor momentarily, only to roll away and get back up after several seconds. Once revived, the creatures would resume trying to enter the home and make further attempts to enter through windows or doorways. The rest of the family provided a series of descriptions surrounding the creatures that they had believed were extraterrestrial beings, claiming that the small monsters stood at roughly 2 to 4 feet in height, had large pointed ears, claws for hands, and enlarged oval-shaped eyes that gave off a luminous yellow glow. Fearing that the shootout could have been evidence of neighboring families suffering from mass hysteria and attacking each other in the dark, the officers worked quickly to investigate the claims made by the Langford family. This led to the police department sending a total of 11 men, 4 city police, 3 deputy sheriffs, and 4 military police to the Sutton farmhouse to conduct an official investigation on the matter, leading to the officers discovering evidence of the gunfights, bullet holes, and clawed attempts to enter the home carved against the doors and windowsills. Police Chief Russell Greenwell reportedly found a glowing, luminous stain nearby a fence on the property. Conflicting reports made by the military police claim that police officer Richard Digby discovered the luminous stain. However, the compound was not gathered or tested for scientific study. A few hours following the investigation, the family would pack up their belongings and leave the farmhouse entirely. According to the family, their reason for their sudden departure was that the creatures had returned at around 3:30 in the morning and tried to re-enter their home once again. Events described as according to the Langford family's official police and subsequent news reports. The location of the incident took place at the Sutton farmhouse, owned by Mrs. Glennie Langford, located at the Gaither McGehee property found on Old Madisonville Road, Route 41 of Kelly, Kentucky, 8 miles north of Hopkinsville. The witnesses of the event totaled 11 people. They were Mrs. Glennie Langford, age 50, her youngest son Lonnie Langford, age 12, her eldest daughter Charlton Langford, age 10, her youngest daughter Mary Langford, age 7, her second-born son John Charlie J.C. Sutton, age 21, John Sutton's wife Aline Sutton, age 27, Aline Sutton's brother O.P. Baker, approximate age 30, her eldest son Elmer Lucky Sutton, age 25, and Elmer Sutton's wife Vera Sutton, age 29, Elmer Sutton's co-worker Billy Ray Taylor, age 21, and Billy Ray's wife June Taylor, age 18, totaling 8 legal adults and 3 children. It was a late Sunday evening, and the 3 families, the Langfords, Suttons and Taylors, were passing the time by playing cards and telling funny stories after dinner. The visiting co-workers had asked if there was any Kentucky moonshine or bottles of beer available for them to enjoy, but Mrs. Glennie Langford admitted to the visitors that she was a very strict religious follower and would not allow any form of alcohol to enter her home or be consumed in her house. Desperate for something to drink, Billy Ray Taylor went out the back door of the house with a bucket and made a short trip to the outdoor pump to retrieve a few gallons of well water. It was at this time, originally reported to have been sometime around 7 in the evening or 8 in the evening when accounting for modern scheduled daylight savings time that took effect after 1955, that Billy Ray Taylor noticed what he described as a streak of bright light that moved across the sky coming from the southwest toward his location. Many unidentified object reports erroneously mistake the time of day as pointing towards evidence of a hoax, believing that the sun would not set for another 36 minutes, and so the streak of light was caused by a reflection of sunlight off nearby clouds. However, when taking into account that the original sighting report time would have been around 8 in the evening by modern daylight savings time conventions, the sun had set over 24 minutes prior to the sighting of the bright streaks. As the unexplainable light flew closer, Billy Ray Taylor claimed that he could see what he described as a large, disc-shaped object with a variety of colors emitted from its rear landing several fields over, beyond the tree line, disappearing about a quarter of a mile away. In the distance, however, the faint glow of a bright yellowish light could be seen. Surprised by the sudden appearance of the craft, Billy Ray Taylor immediately fled back into the house and told the others what he had witnessed and said that they should all go investigate the craft, together. Believing that Billy Ray had mistaken a falling star for an aircraft, the others dismissed his claims and told him to calm down. Another hour went by as the three families continued passing time together before they began to hear the family dogs breaking out into sporadic barkings and violent squeals. Worried for the canines, Elmer Lucky Sutton went outside to investigate the cause of their sudden barking, joined by Billy Ray Taylor, who had grown increasingly hysterical after his sighting of the unidentified flying object only moments before. It was at this moment that the two men claimed to have witnessed a strange creature slowly approaching the house, causing the dogs to flee and crawl underneath the house for protection. Panicked by the sighting, the two men ran back into the house and immediately began arming themselves. Armed, Elmer Sutton exited the farmhouse and stepped out onto the front porch with Billy Ray Taylor close behind. Illuminated by the light of the house, the two men could more accurately see the strange creature and described it as being approximately 3 to 4 feet in height, with an enlarged head and long, sharply pointed ears on either side. The eyes of the creature were described as being positioned more on the sides of the head and emitted a faint yellowish glow. The creature had long, thin arms that reached almost to the ground that were equipped with long, webbed fingers that ended in sharp, pointed claws on the tips of its fingers. Its legs were described as being abnormally short, as the creature appeared to have floated above the ground. The rest of its body gave off a faint, reflective glow, as if it was encased in a protective layer of finely polished metal. Mrs. Glennie Langford would later provide the testimony that she had witnessed the strange creature lift its hands above its head as it approached the house. Believing the creature to be raising its hands in peace, she told the two men not to fire at the creature to allow it to approach closer. Whether or not the two men had heard Mrs. Langford, however, is unknown, as the two men opened fire on the creature, causing it to flip over backwards when struck by the bullets. The witnesses claimed that the sound of the bullets hitting the creature was similar to that of a bullet striking the side of a metal bucket. Immediately after falling to the ground, the metallic creature rose back to an upright position and ran off into the darkness, using an odd form of motion that the witnesses reported came from the hips and not from the motions of its legs. The two men and Mrs. Glennie Langford returned to the house and told the others what they had witnessed and began to arm themselves with whatever weapons they could find around the house, which included several rifles, shotguns and pistols alongside enough boxes of ammo to hold off a small army. As the three families were in the living room of the home, discussing what they were to do next, they noticed a metallic creature of similar design suddenly appear in the window, trying to peer into the house as if making an attempt to enter the home by force. John Sutton then fired at the living room window, causing the creature to fall backwards and hit the ground. Believing now that they were under attack, Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray went outside to check the perimeter of the house to make sure that the creature was gone. After Elmer had stepped off the porch and onto the front grass, with Billy Ray close behind, Aline Sutton noticed a long, clawed hand reaching down from the porch's rooftop towards Billy Ray Taylor's head. She screamed for him to look up and to watch out for the creature's hand. At this point, Billy Ray Taylor was pulled back into the house by Aline Sutton, and Elmer Sutton turned around and began firing at the creature on the rooftop from the front yard, knocking the creature off the roof and disappearing into the nearby weeds. Billy Ray Sutton then began to realize that there was more than one creature and exited the house while pointing over at the property's adjacent tree line. Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray noticed another creature of similar design hiding in the nearby maple tree. The two men opened fire on the creature, which jumped down and slowly descended onto the yard before it moved away from the house and deeper into the tree line, with its hips swaying in a strange motion and its short legs floating above the ground. Billy Ray and Elmer Sutton chased the creature further into the tree line, firing after it until it was away from the property a significant distance. When they returned to the house, they claimed to have seen another of the metallic creatures peeking around the side of the farmhouse, looking as if it was trying to find a side window to enter through. The two men fired at the creature until it was on the ground, which echoed the sound of metallic strikes, and began to approach the creature as they continued firing. Before the men could get too close, however, the creature levitated back up to an upright position and escaped. Spending another 20 minutes outside the home, looking around the property and the rooftop of the house, the two men noticed another metallic creature on the top of the house, and so began to fire multiple shots at the creature until it began descending 40 feet away from the rooftop and hovered over a fence located on the property. Chasing the creature, the two men went after the creature while firing, forcing the monster off the property as it fled away into the darkness. Failing to find any more of the creatures on or around the house, the two men re-entered the home and told the others what they had seen, and that the single creature was more accurately a group of creatures. The children were told to stay under the beds while the adults argued about what they were going to do and whether or not what was happening was some kind of elaborate prank being pulled on each other by other members of the house. More than 20 minutes passed without any sign of the creatures returning, at which point the family began to realize that their weapons were ineffective against the monsters and would not be able to repel them for long, and so decided that hiding in different areas around the house would be far more effective, in the hopes of waiting out the creatures until the morning arrived. While the occupants of the house waited, switching between hiding places and crouching by the windows and doors, the sounds of scratching and clawing would emanate from the rooftop. Before long, Mrs. Glennie Langford would scream to the men that she could see through the window that one of the metallic creatures was approaching the front door of the home and making an attempt to enter the house. Reacting quickly, Billy Ray Taylor opened the front door and fired several rounds through the screen door, completely destroying the lining of the screen door and causing the metallic creature to fly backwards onto the front yard. Mrs. Glennie Langford would later provide the testimony that the metallic creature that approached the front door had a design that differed greatly from the other reported metallic creatures, describing the creature as having the barrel-shaped body of a shiny silver 5-gallon kerosene can supported by two skinny legs that touched the ground with a large head attached to the top of the body. Her description of the creature appears to imply that the creature was artificial in nature and possibly a metal automaton. As time passed, the surrounding metallic creatures made several more attempts to enter the house, appearing in windows and approaching the front door, but were warded off with gunfire at each attempt. The residents of the house estimated that at the height of the invasion attempts, there were somewhere between 12 to 15 of the metallic creatures at any one time, but reports themselves show that the attack could have been caused by two metallic creatures making repeat appearances. After several hours of the attack had passed, the three families began to worry that they would not be able to hold out for much longer and began making attempts to conserve what remained of their ammunition, which was running thin. It was at around 11, a total of 3 hours after the invasion began, that the family made their first attempt to evacuate the home and contact the police. After planning out a thorough route that the 11 residents of the farmhouse could take together as a group to Elmer Sutton's and Billy Ray Taylor's car, the children and the wives quickly started to pack necessary belongings and prepared for their journey to the vehicles. When the attack slowed down, the adults formed a protective layer around the children, with the 3 armed men forming an outer offensive perimeter as they moved together as a group to separate vehicles. Once everyone was inside the vehicles, the families drove together to the nearest police station, 8 miles away in Hopkinsville. Many of the witnesses that had a direct and clear line of sight of the Hopkinsville goblins described the metallic creatures as demonstrating a peculiar form of flight capabilities. Rather than walking on the ground with a standard form of locomotion, they hovered only a few feet above the ground. When dropping from tree lines or rooftops, the creatures would slowly descend to the ground, only to hover several feet above the ground, as if the creature was not capable of having a prolonged form of flight at a height greater than several feet. Due to their metallic nature, the artificial glowing eyes, the strange body shape, and the unexplainable form of levitation, it is believed that the Hopkinsville goblin is a robotic entity created and used by the nearby unidentified flying object for an unknown purpose. Such purposes could include a peaceful first contact, alien-human abduction, or hostile wartime actions. If it is to be believed that the creature is a robotic entity, then the hovering abilities are most likely caused by a mechanical form of flight that does not make significant noise, such as lighter-than-air processes or ionic propulsion, or both. Reports show that officers discovered a luminous liquid material near the fence line of the property, which matches the claims made by Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor of firing at one of the creatures as it hovered over the fence. The luminous material provides evidence that the makeup of the creature is artificial in nature, and a form of coolant or oil could be made luminous for ease of repair, as a luminous compound would be easy to spot, and the coloring could be an easy indicator of which system might be leaking. The levitating form of locomotion of the creatures implies that the robots were most likely designed for zero-gravity environments, as the need for levitation of any kind would be far less efficient in gravity-heavy environments when compared to standard forms of locomotion. The creatures appeared to have a deeper knowledge of the psychological profile of human beings, consistently demonstrating behaviors that would require intensive study of the human mind and empathetic actions. Although it could have been possible that the Hopkinsville goblins were limited in its flight capabilities, reports showed that the creatures had the ability to levitate to heights that would allow them to get on top of rooftops and hide in trees, demonstrating that the creatures were more than capable of flying at much greater heights. The option then to fly at hovering heights could have been an empathetic move to appear more humanoid and less intimidating by remaining at much smaller heights when compared to the residents. When the creature raised its hands above its hands, according to the testimony of Mrs. Glennie Langford, it demonstrated a knowledge of human body language, appearing to make an attempt at establishing a peaceful first contact. Such a behavior is atypical of any known creature and is evidence that the study of human body language took place. The creature's design is seemingly humanoid, which could have been a design choice that was made with empathetic connection in mind. It would be much easier for human beings to empathize and relate to a creature that is more similar in design to a humanoid figure rather than a more terrifying shape, and so the choice of humanoid designs over a robotic design that is far more efficient could be evidence of psychological understanding. Evidence as to their artificial nature is demonstrated in the complete lack of self-preservation on the creature's part and the performance of repeated actions regardless of the changing conditions. Even after being shot and leaking luminous fluid, the creatures continued making repeated attempts at entering through the front door and peering through the window, of which would be anomalous behavior of any advanced intelligent life. The seemingly incompetent behavior points to an artificial intelligence or conditional programming. In the quiet countryside of Finland lived two avid birdwatchers. Their shared passion for wildlife had forged a deep bond between them, and together they embarked on countless adventures to observe the avian wonders of their homeland. On a specific instance, they experienced an enigmatic occurrence in the celestial realm that left them bewildered and intrigued. On a serene and bright day, the sun beamed a gentle radiance over the picturesque Finnish terrain as the two individuals embarked towards their beloved bird-watching sanctuary. The weather was refreshing, and the atmosphere was tranquil, enhancing their outdoor experience. Hovering gracefully just beyond the canopy of the trees, a gleaming metallic entity remained suspended in mid-air. The aircraft's appearance was ethereal, lacking any identifiable wings or propellers, which gave it a surreal quality. Its form seemed to constantly transform, defying all expectations of a conventional aircraft, as observed by the individuals witnessing it. During the encounter, a man recounted the moment when he struggled to quickly modify his camera configurations to document the peculiar occurrence. Fortunately, he managed to do so just in time before the mysterious object vanished into the distance. This incident highlights the importance of being prepared to capture unexpected events promptly and effectively. While engaged in the act of capturing images, the individual managed to take numerous photographs. Concurrently, his companion endeavored to record the enigmatic object on video, expressing difficulty as his camera seemed unable to appropriately focus on the object due to its constantly changing appearance. This situation presented a challenge in documenting the mysterious entity through visual means. The appearance of the object underwent a series of remarkable changes, evolving first from a shiny disc into a stretched-out cylinder and eventually into a perfectly round sphere. Throughout this transformation, the object's shape shifted gradually, showcasing a fascinating metamorphosis. As they peered through the lens of their cameras, capturing every intricate detail, and pondered over a myriad of inquiries, their gaze remained fixed on the enigmatic entity that hovered before them, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. After seizing the images, the individuals recounted that the unidentified object swiftly ascended with remarkable velocity, vanishing into the immense reaches of the sky shortly afterward. This event left the observers in awe of the sudden and rapid movement displayed by the object. Both individuals found themselves incapable of grasping the essence of the occurrence they had observed. Despite their efforts, the complexity of the phenomenon eluded their understanding. In the typical scenario involving unknown objects being captured, the images inevitably found their place on social media, triggering discussions and speculations among individuals regarding the nature and identity of these objects. The observation made by an individual highlighted the intriguing nature of the sighting, noting that the majority of unidentified objects typically maintain a consistent shape. This particular observation of a changing shape was deemed significant as it added a layer of authenticity to their encounter, thus enhancing the credibility associated with the experience. One proposal recommended that the images be uploaded to a database specifically designed for UFO sightings as a precautionary measure in the event that this unidentified object is observed again. Many labeled this object as a shape-shifting UFO and said that these objects possess a distinctive feature characterized by their remarkable capability to morph into a wide array of shapes and forms, showcasing a level of versatility that intrigues witnesses and challenges conventional beliefs. Observers worldwide have recounted encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena that initially present themselves as the classic flying saucers commonly associated with UFO lore, only to undergo astonishing metamorphoses into elongated cylinders, luminous orbs, or even amorphous fluid-like structures. This remarkable ability to alter their appearance transcends the boundaries of known aircraft technologies, pushing the boundaries of our understanding in fields such as propulsion, aerodynamics, and materials science. Numerous reliable witnesses, ranging from military personnel and commercial pilots to trained observers, have documented instances of UFOs exhibiting shape-shifting characteristics. These eyewitnesses typically hold a high level of proficiency in distinguishing between conventional aircraft and atmospheric occurrences, adding credibility to their reports. Their narratives imply that the phenomenon goes beyond mere optical deceptions or misinterpretations, as these individuals possess the knowledge and experience necessary to discern between familiar and unidentified aerial entities. The accounts provided by these individuals offer compelling insights into the complex nature of these sightings, suggesting that there may be more to these encounters than meets the eye. Shape-shifting unidentified flying objects are commonly linked to flight behaviors that surpass the capacities of traditional planes. Observers have recounted abrupt alterations in speed, unpredictable movements, and the capability to remain suspended noiselessly for prolonged durations. These actions go against the established laws of physics, pushing the boundaries of our comprehension and questioning the fundamentals of propulsion and aerodynamics. UFO sightings often involve encounters with phenomena that exhibit astonishing capabilities, sparking curiosity and prompting a re-evaluation of our understanding of aviation norms and technological possibilities. The enigma surrounding the mechanisms responsible for the shape-shifting abilities of unidentified flying objects continues to captivate both scientific inquiry and public discourse. Various conjectures abound, with some postulating the use of cutting-edge metamaterials or unconventional propulsion mechanisms to facilitate rapid alterations in form and structure. Conversely, alternative hypotheses propose that these enigmatic craft could be manipulating electromagnetic fields or tapping into esoteric energy reservoirs to achieve their fluidity in appearance. The lack of definitive explanations highlights the imperative for a more exhaustive and rigorous scientific exploration into this perplexing phenomenon. In the field of UFO investigation, numerous theoretical models have emerged to elucidate the phenomena of shape-shifting UFOs. One prevalent conjecture suggests that these entities could potentially be sophisticated military aircraft or innovative technological prototypes that are presently under classified status. While this perspective rationalizes the extraordinary aerial behaviors observed, it falls short in accounting for the conspicuous lack of public acknowledgement and the widespread occurrence of shape-shifting UFO encounters across the globe. These enigmatic sightings transcend geographical boundaries, prompting a deeper inquiry into the underlying mechanisms that govern these elusive entities and the implications they harbor for both scientific exploration and public awareness. In the realm of UFO phenomena, there exists another intriguing hypothesis, proposing that UFOs capable of shapeshifting could potentially originate from extraterrestrial sources. Advocates of this notion put forth the argument that the varied forms these UFOs can assume and their sophisticated functionalities point towards a technological prowess surpassing human capabilities. They posit that these enigmatic objects might serve as emissaries from civilizations outside our planet, engaging in reconnaissance or exploration missions, utilizing their shape-shifting ability as a tool for adaptation to diverse environments. The notion of shape-shifting UFOs being of alien descent opens up a realm of possibilities regarding the existence of extraterrestrial beings and their potential interactions with our world. In Finland, the phenomenon of UFO sightings boasts a rich history that stretches back to the mid-20th century. Instances of enigmatic aerial occurrences have been meticulously chronicled across various landscapes within the nation, encompassing the densely wooded realms of Karelia and Lapland, in addition to bustling urban hubs such as Helsinki. These reports encapsulate a spectrum of experiences, ranging from individual testimonies to collective observations where multiple individuals have witnessed inexplicable events unfolding in the nocturnal heavens. The presence of unidentified flying objects has intrigued and bewildered both locals and researchers alike, leading to a comprehensive exploration of these occurrences that have become an integral part of Finland's cultural and historical tapestry. One notable feature of UFO observations in Finland lies in the existence of numerous observers and supported narratives. In various cases, it is not just individuals who have observed UFOs, but entire communities have experienced these mysterious phenomena. These accounts frequently include similar specifics, including the visual characteristics of the objects, their atypical movements, and the lack of sound, which adds weight to the authenticity of the sightings. This phenomenon raises questions about the potential explanations behind these sightings, as well as the impact they may have on the perceptions and beliefs of those who have encountered them. The consistent nature of these reports across different witnesses and locations suggests a need for further investigation and analysis to unravel the mysteries surrounding UFO sightings in Finland. This unfolding mystery seems to have been plucked straight from the pages of a compelling mystery novel, weaving a web of intrigue and fascination around the mysterious Dr. Ning Lee and her baffling disappearance. Dr. Ning Lee not only resided in Huntsville, but also emerged as a pioneering figure in the realm of anti-gravity experimentation. Following her relocation to the United States from China in 1983, Lee embarked on her professional journey at the Center for Space Plasma and Aeronomic Research within the University of Alabama, Huntsville. Her transition not only signified a geographic move, but also marked a significant shift in her career trajectory. During the period spanning from 1991 to 1993, she gained widespread recognition and sparked controversy due to her involvement in a set of research papers. In her research endeavors, Lee elucidated an innovative and practical approach to generate an anti-gravity field, a feat that had hitherto remained unexplored. The conventional wisdom has long posited that the construction of an anti-gravity apparatus goes against the fundamental laws of nature, deeming it a theoretical impossibility. Despite this entrenched notion, Lee, in collaboration with Douglas Torr, ventured into uncharted territories, postulating ingenious methods to circumvent this steadfast belief through the utilization of a high-temperature superconductor. In a hyperspace field generator, the minuscule gravitational influence of every single atom present is amplified by the countless atoms within the disk. Dr. Lee asserted that by utilizing approximately 1 kilowatt of electrical power, her invention had the capability to generate a protective force field capable of essentially counteracting the effects of gravity within a circular area of about 1 foot in diameter, spanning from the Earth's surface to the outer reaches of space. This innovative technology harnesses the collective gravitational forces of the atomic structure to create a localized gravitational anomaly. In a bid to showcase their scientific endeavors, the researchers extended an invitation to representatives from the esteemed publication Popular Mechanics to pay a visit to their Huntsville laboratory. During this visit, they presented an ongoing project, a 12-inch disc designed as a high-tech stability disc. Once the disc was finalized, they confidently informed the magazine that if a bowling ball is positioned anywhere above this disc, it will remain stationary at that exact spot, without any displacement. This innovative demonstration aimed to highlight the unique capabilities of their high-tech stability disc technology in maintaining the stability and position of objects placed above it, offering a glimpse into the promising applications of their research. In the late 1990s, Dr. Lee made bold assertions about successfully developing operational anti-gravity contraptions, sparking significant interest in scientific circles, as well as gaining widespread coverage in the media. Dr. Lee's groundbreaking claims fueled extensive discussions in various scientific journals and the mainstream press. Subsequently, in 1997, Dr. Lee embarked on furthering her innovative ideas by delving deeper into her concept and executing a series of additional experiments to validate her theories. She took a proactive stance by releasing comprehensive papers that detailed the peculiar alterations in weight observed in objects placed above a rotating superconductor. The notion that her groundbreaking research, termed taming gravity, has the potential to revolutionize the world is a massive understatement. The concept of taming gravity has the power to revolutionize transportation across all spheres. It envisions a future where individuals can effortlessly journey around the globe. Furthermore, this innovation has the capacity to reshape how we fuel transportation systems, fundamentally reducing our dependence on fossil fuels. Not only would it redefine the way we move from one place to another, but it could also usher in a new era of sustainable energy practices. Such a transformation has the potential to significantly impact various aspects of our daily lives, paving the way for a more efficient and environmentally friendly future. After the disappearance of Dr. Ning Li, the story took a peculiar turn, delving into even more bizarre territories. In 1999, Li made the significant decision to depart from her position at the University of Alabama in Huntsville to establish her venture, AC Gravity, with the ambition of bringing to market a device grounded in her innovative theories. Her peers, particularly Larry Smalley, the esteemed chair of the physics department at the University of Alabama in Huntsville, demonstrated remarkable faith in her vision, as he also chose to leave the academic realm to join her in this entrepreneurial endeavor. Noteworthy records indicate that by 2001, the United States Department of Defense awarded AC Gravity a substantial grant amounting to $448,000 to conduct research on the technology developed by Lee. Despite the infusion of funding and efforts invested, it is worth noting that the findings and outcomes of this research initiative never saw the light of publication. Over time, Dr. Lee refrained from publishing any additional work following a certain period. Despite the consistent renewal of AC Gravity's business license up to 2018, there exists no documented evidence of the company engaging in further projects or endeavors beyond this timeframe. Lee's professional trajectory post-2002 remains shrouded in ambiguity, sparking intrigue and speculation among researchers and enthusiasts alike. A thorough investigation conducted by Barely Sociable unearthed a pivotal piece of evidence, a documented record revealing her participation in the esteemed 2003 MITRE conference. The title of her presentation, Measurability of AC Gravity Fields, showcased her continued engagement in groundbreaking research endeavors. Noteworthy is the fact that the MITRE Corporation, known for overseeing federally funded research projects for various U.S. government bodies, provided the platform for Lee's presentation. During this significant event, she shared the stage with a distinguished representative from the U.S. Army Aviation and Missile Command at Redstone Arsenal, underscoring the ongoing relevance and application of her research initiatives. After Lee's final documented communication in May 2003, the trail regarding her whereabouts goes cold. It culminated in a private email she sent to her colleagues, wherein she mentioned conducting an experiment that resulted in an 11 kilowatts of output effect. The true significance of this output remains shrouded in mystery, leaving many questions unanswered about the nature of the experiment and its implications. Despite the intriguing nature of the claim, the details surrounding the experiment and the context in which it took place are sparse. In 2004, the noticeable absence of Dr. Ning Li prompted journalist Tim Ventura to reach out to Eugene Podkletnov, a fellow scientist in the field. Ventura's persistence in trying to contact Dr. Li was evident through his periodic emails to an address provided by Podkletnov. Despite receiving read receipts indicating that someone was monitoring the emails sent to Dr. Li, Ventura expressed his frustration at never receiving any responses. The repeated attempts to establish communication with Dr. Li underscored the mystery surrounding her unresponsiveness, leaving both Ventura and Podkletnov puzzled about the reasons behind her silence. This exchange between Ventura and Podkletnov sheds light on the elusive nature of Dr. Li's whereabouts and the intrigue surrounding her lack of communication despite being aware of incoming messages. Following Podkletnov's inquiry, he assured Ventura about her good health status and ongoing collaboration with the Department of Defense, yet mentioned the confidentiality surrounding her current projects. As time progressed, discussions about the whereabouts of Li gained momentum, accompanied by the proliferation of various theories. In the month of July in 2008, an individual known as Jack Sarfati, who is a scientist, delivered a notably concerning update during an interview. This interview was subsequently shared on YouTube and featured in a video produced by Barely Sociable. The revelations made by Sarfati added another layer of complexity to the ongoing speculation and intrigue surrounding Li's mysterious disappearance. In the interview, Sarfati stated that Li had ceased her employment with the Department of Defense and relocated to China to pursue her professional endeavors. This assertion, revealed in the interview transcript, underscores the gravity of the accusation made against Li. According to Sarfati, the disappearance of the key scientist, Ning Li, is of significant importance concerning both national security and political implications. Notably, Ning Li, a Chinese researcher who had been actively engaged in scientific endeavors at NASA and the Redstone Arsenal, has been missing for several years now, with all attempts to locate her proving futile. Recent information suggests that she may have returned to China, where there are efforts underway to support similar scientific experiments with substantial financial backing. This development has piqued the interest of intelligence agencies who are closely monitoring the situation. It is believed that the Chinese government is investing resources in research related to anti-gravity propulsion technology, making them potential frontrunners in this field. This scenario has raised concerns within the Pentagon and has prompted a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding Ning Li's sudden departure and the subsequent shift in research focus towards anti-gravity technologies by Chinese counterparts. The implications of these findings have far-reaching consequences, warranting a comprehensive review and analysis to better understand the geopolitical and security implications of these emerging developments in the scientific community. After the conclusion of Sarfati's interview, the video featuring Ning Li abruptly concludes, without providing any definitive information about her professional endeavors post-2002. Eager to unravel the mystery, many people rewatched the footage, embarking on a quest to uncover the continuation of her intriguing narrative. Over the past couple of years, numerous online articles have surfaced. Among these publications, an obituary commemorating the life of Dr. Ning Li was specifically featured on the Berryhill Funeral Home website, revealing the heartbreaking news of her passing on July 27, 2021. Nonetheless, Her obituary disclosed no further details on her vanishing. The obituary commemorates Dr. Lee, a pioneering scientist in superconductivity and anti-gravity research who passed away at the age of 79. Dr. Lee's groundbreaking achievements included developing the world's first high-temperature superconducting device measuring 12 inches in the late 1990s. Given that Berry Hill Funeral Home operates within Huntsville, it can be reasonably inferred that the allegations suggesting Lee's departure to China were inaccurate. Despite this, a significant number of individuals expressed skepticism regarding the authenticity of the obituary and opted to uphold a variety of theories instead. These doubts and speculations shed light on the complexities surrounding the circumstances of Lee's purported disappearance and the subsequent dissemination of information. In the detailed obituary, George Guangyu Men was mentioned alongside his descendants. Following extensive research efforts, online users successfully uncovered George's registration of an LLC in the city, as well as the contact number associated with his business. Despite facing some hesitation, Noah Logan, a researcher, was fully committed to his quest at that point and not willing to abandon it. Subsequently, he mustered the courage to reach out to George. Upon their initial conversation, they acquainted themselves with each other, leading to George kindly extending an invitation for him to visit his residence and engage in a conversation regarding his late mother. George mentioned that although nobody had previously contacted him via phone, Noah was not the first person to reach out regarding the subject matter. He has received numerous correspondences from individuals based in New Zealand and other locations, all seeking further insights into Dr. Lee's research. George had a vague understanding that there was ongoing interest in his mother, but he underestimated the true extent of this curiosity. To provide clarity, Noah presented videos to him and his 2 children in the comfort of his living room, showcasing some of the online discussions surrounding the topic. This presentation allowed George to shed light on several speculations that have lingered over the years. Of utmost importance, it was confirmed that Dr. Lee remained within the Department of Defense and had not ventured abroad to work for the Chinese government. Interestingly, a particular detail corresponded with Sarfati's 2008 interview, aligning with previous information. Through this thorough exploration, George was able to dispel misconceptions and address the inquiries concerning his mother, providing valuable insights into her professional endeavors and dispelling any inaccurate assumptions. George recounted an incident from 2008 when Chinese officials visited his mother during a visit by members of the Chinese Party to the United States. The officials tried persuading her to return to China to resume her previous work, but Lee was unwavering in her decision. Having relocated with George in the late 1980s, she was firmly rooted and had no intentions of leaving her established life behind. Despite her strong ties to the United States, Lee did consider going back for her mother's funeral upon her passing. Unfortunately, George revealed that she was ultimately prohibited from doing so, emphasizing the emotional complexity of their situation. This poignant anecdote sheds light on the enduring bond between Lee and her adopted country, showcasing her unwavering commitment even in the face of personal loss and bureaucratic obstacles. Upon reminiscing about her time at university, he fondly recalled how delighted she was in disseminating her research findings. However, a noticeable shift occurred after she acquired top-secret clearance, which restricted her from openly sharing her work with others, leading to a significant decrease in her outgoing nature. Her demeanor transformed, evident in her subdued presence upon returning home from work, marked by a tired appearance and disheveled makeup. This stark contrast from her vibrant university days left him reflecting on the impact of professional constraints on her spirit. The transition to a more reserved and secluded persona highlighted the repercussions of stringent confidentiality measures on her overall demeanor and communication patterns. In an effort to gain insights into her work, Noah submitted requests under the Freedom of Information Act to obtain the outcomes of her 2001 grant, as well as any subsequent research endeavors. Regrettably, not only were his requests denied, but similar pleas from other individuals faced the same fate. Consequently, it appears that uncovering the specifics of her research post-2002 will remain a daunting challenge for the foreseeable future. This impasse in accessing crucial information sheds light on the enduring mystery surrounding her research activities beyond that period. Upon conversing with George, it becomes evident that he continues to deeply admire his mother. His profound respect and reverence for her shine through in every word and expression he shares. Dr. Lee dedicated her days to working at Redstone Arsenal until the year 2014, when she was involved in an incident on the University of Alabama in Huntsville campus, being struck by a vehicle while crossing the street. This unfortunate accident had profound and long-lasting repercussions on her family. Upon witnessing his wife of 46 years being thrown from the impact, Dr. Lee's husband suffered a heart attack. Despite medical efforts, he tragically passed away a year later in 2015. The repercussions of this event reverberated deeply within their family, leaving a significant impact that affected them both emotionally and physically. In the face of this profound loss, the family endured a period of immense grief and adjustment. George experienced a profound impact when the accident left Lee with irreversible brain damage that eventually led to her developing Alzheimer's disease shortly thereafter. Supporting his mother through the final 6 challenging years of her life until her passing in 2021, George faced immense emotional and physical strains. Witnessing a family member succumb to Alzheimer's is a deeply distressing ordeal, made even more poignant by his intimate knowledge of Lee's former intellect and the significance it held for her. Questions remain regarding Lee's work, with many asking what it was she was working on during her career and why Freedom of Information Act requests have been denied.
Pope John Paul II personally performed 3 exorcisms during his reign. While the Vatican typically refuses to call an event an actual exorcism, they do, however, acknowledge the events which they are describing. The Pope might seem symbolic, as we usually only see ceremonious duties, but the Catholic head does perform papal exorcisms and other duties. Italian journalist Fabio Marchese Ragona has always maintained that he believes that demons are real and prowl about the earth looking for souls. He is a primary source for the history of Vatican exorcisms, John Paul II being no exception. Ragona stated that he has spoken to several exorcists who said the devil was terrified of John Paul II. He is said to have performed at least 3 exorcisms in his day, in 1982, 1984 and 2000. Before John Paul II, exorcism was considered a medieval practice, going away with the development of medicine and technology, but in 1998 the Pope actually approved an updated form of the rite of exorcism, nearly 400 years after the first rite was established and released. He himself had already performed 2 exorcisms at this point, and believed it was necessary to have this practice reinstated and, when necessary, used. On March 27, 1982, Francesca was with her family when they arrived in St. Peter's Square. Doctors were unable to solve the enigma, as the woman was under the care of a priest who was an exorcist, and of her parish priest at the time. Because her case was so unexplainable and unsolvable, Bishop Alberti of Spoleto brought the young woman before the Pope. This woman was completely emotionless. The Pope brought forth the rite of exorcism and began to read it in Latin. As the scripture was read aloud, she began to tremble and ultimately rolled around on the floor, shouting and shrieking. He was praying, and eventually the possession was pulled from her body and left her alone, finally. The woman, Francesca, is leading a normal life, married with 4 children. Gabriele Amorth was the exorcist for the Diocese of Rome. Francesca visited him afterwards and with his own eyes saw that the woman was completely fine and normal.
Demonic possession is a phenomenon deeply ingrained in the annals of human history, transcending cultures, religions, and time periods. The belief in supernatural entities inhabiting human bodies, often leading to erratic behavior and affliction, has shaped societies and religious doctrines for millennia. The concept of demonic possession can be traced back to ancient civilizations, where it played a central role in understanding the inexplicable. In Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh mentions spirits and malevolent forces that could possess humans. In ancient Egypt, various spells and rituals were developed to exorcise evil spirits believed to cause illnesses. In the Hebrew Bible, particularly the Old Testament, accounts of demonic possession are found. The Hebrew word shadim refers to evil spirits or demons that were believed to influence human behavior. Notable instances include King Saul's possession in the Book of Samuel and the story of the demon-possessed man in the New Testament's Gospel of Mark. Demonic possession also held significance in classical antiquity. Ancient Greeks believed in daemons, supernatural beings that could possess individuals, leading to madness or erratic behavior. Greek mythology featured tales of people being possessed by various gods and spirits, such as Dionysus, the god of wine and ecstasy. In Roman society, belief in spirits and possession persisted, with exorcisms and rituals aimed at banishing malevolent entities. The Roman historian Livy documented instances of demonic possession in his works, emphasizing the role of supernatural forces in human affairs. Demonic possession took on a new dimension with the rise of Christianity in the medieval period. The Church played a pivotal role in shaping beliefs about possession, with the emergence of exorcism as a formalized ritual. The Gospel's accounts of Jesus' exorcisms contributed to the Church's recognition of the phenomenon. The infamous Salem witch trials in the late 17th century are a dark chapter in the history of demonic possession. In Puritan America, fear of witches and possession led to the persecution and execution of numerous individuals accused of being possessed or practicing witchcraft. During the Renaissance and Enlightenment periods, there was a shift towards more rational and scientific explanations for behaviors previously attributed to demonic possession. The emergence of psychology and the understanding of illnesses marked a turning point in how society viewed cases of possession. Prominent figures like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung began to interpret alleged possession as manifestations of psychological disorders, often influenced by suppressed traumas or personal conflicts. As a result, exorcisms and witch hunts gradually declined in favor of medical and psychiatric interventions. In contemporary times, the belief in demonic possession persists in certain religious and cultural contexts. While skepticism about possession as a supernatural phenomenon prevails in secular societies, it remains a potent force in many religious communities. The Roman Catholic Church, for example, continues to perform exorcisms under specific circumstances. Cultural expressions of demonic possession have also evolved. Horror films, literature, and popular culture often draw on the concept of possession to terrify and captivate audiences. A group of approximately 250 clergymen hailing from 50 different nations has gathered in the Eternal City of Rome. Their purpose: to deepen their understanding of the intricate and often mysterious phenomenon of demonic possession. This exceptional congregation of priests has come together to engage in an enlightening exploration, one that encompasses not only theoretical knowledge, but also first-hand experiences shared by their fellow brethren. Exorcism continues to be a topic of considerable controversy, primarily fueled by its portrayal in popular culture and horror movies. However, it is important to acknowledge that alongside this media representation, there have also been instances where the practice of exorcism has been associated with cases of misuse. The week-long educational program organized by the Vatican, known as the Exorcism and the Prayer of Liberation, is widely recognized as the sole international series of lectures dedicated to this particular subject matter. Commencing its inaugural session in the year 2005, this program has witnessed a remarkable increase in participant numbers, with the attendance of priests more than doubling since its inception. Catholic priests from various countries have recently shared with the media that there has been a noticeable rise in individuals coming forward and recounting experiences that they believe to be indicative of being possessed by demonic entities. In a significant pronouncement made last year, Pope Francis emphasized the importance of addressing the genuine spiritual disturbances that some parishioners may face. According to reports, the number of individuals seeking exorcisms in Italy reaches an astonishing 500,000 annually. This phenomenon is not exclusive to Italy alone, as a 2017 report by Christian think tank Theos indicated a growing trend in the United Kingdom as well. One contributing factor to this increase is believed to be the proliferation of Pentecostal churches. In response to the increasing demand, several dioceses have taken the initiative to create their own educational programs. This trend can be observed in regions such as Sicily in Italy and the bustling city of Chicago in the United States. According to Father Gary Thomas, an experienced American priest with over a decade of exorcism practice, there has been a notable rise in the demand for exorcisms. One contributing factor to this phenomenon, he suggests, is the growing reliance on social sciences in our society, resulting in fewer churches training priests as exorcists. This decline in exorcism training within the Christian Church has subsequently led to an increase in superstitious beliefs and practices. As society increasingly leans towards a more scientific and secular approach, the traditional role of exorcists has diminished. According to Italian priest Benigno Paglia, who shared his insights with Vatican News, the increasing popularity of practices like tarot card readings and sorcery has sparked a resurgence in the need for exorcisms. In the realm of exorcisms, it is important to note that only a small fraction of cases truly necessitate a significant exorcism procedure. In the year 1999, the Catholic Church embarked on a significant endeavour to revise and update the regulations governing exorcism, marking the first comprehensive revision since the year 1614. In the process of dealing with a possessed individual, the priest will employ a sequence of deliverance prayers to alleviate the presence of evil. According to information provided by Catholic officials, during a possession ritual, it is customary for the priest to wear a specific attire consisting of an intricately embroidered white tunic known as a surplice, accompanied by a stole in the colour purple. In order to ensure the effectiveness of the ritual, the individual believed to be possessed is often physically restrained. Furthermore, the utilization of holy water is considered an essential element in this process. In a comprehensive and in-depth manner, the priest invokes the intercession of saints, engages in prayer, and shares selected passages from the Bible that depict Jesus' powerful acts of exorcising demons from afflicted individuals. Through the invocation of Jesus' name, the priest beseeches the malevolent spirit that has possessed an individual to submit to the divine authority of God and to depart from the afflicted person's being. This entreaty, replete with unwavering determination, may be repeated as many times as necessary until the exorcism is deemed successful by the discerning priest. Once convinced of the spirit's departure, the priest then engages in prayer, fervently seeking divine intervention to ensure that the tormenting presence of the evil entity will no longer afflict the individual.
Christianity has been the origin of countless theological debates. Even today, the many enigmas of the faith continue to haunt the natural curiosity of humanity. For all its faults or virtues, it's impossible to deny Christianity's plentiful and intriguing history. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 Christian discoveries. Crypt believed to be Jesus' tomb opened for the first time in centuries. The story of Jesus' return from death is perhaps one of the most popular biblical stories, but the tomb that may have belonged to him has sat dark, dim, and unopened for centuries until now. Researchers investigating Old Jerusalem uncovered a tomb. Inside the tomb sat a limestone bed, just like the one rumoured to have been used for the body of Christ in those 3 days before he rose again. With the researchers was the Greek Orthodox father, Isidoros Fakitsis, who stated, "We saw where Jesus Christ was laid down. Before, nobody has. We have the history, the tradition. Now we saw with our own eyes the actual burial place of Jesus Christ." Researchers spent 60 hours investigating the tomb. Before they left it, they reinforced its supports to preserve it for the future, yet with little to no intention of returning for the foreseeable years. Before it was resealed, an estimated 50 scientists, researchers, and priests visited the site, and very well might be the only people to see it with their own eyes for decades, if not centuries to come. A shrine has long since been built around the tomb, a holy site known as the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Throughout its existence, many Christians have come to this church to lay their respects. The tomb was first discovered long before our time, when the first Christian Roman emperor, Constantine, ruled in the 4th century AD. In the 7th century, the region was ravaged by Persian forces following the fall of Jerusalem, and later again in the 11th century was destroyed during the conflict with the Muslim caliphs. It had a long, extensive history of being destroyed and rebuilt, though the tomb remained sealed all this time, or as far as we know. Various organizations were chosen to deal with the research of the tomb and its investigation, including the National Geographic Society, the National Technical University of Athens, and the National Geographic Channel. The project as a whole circles around the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. The researchers had no initial intention of heading into the tomb. The shrine had fallen into disrepair. The mortar, columns, and every aspect of the shrine needed to be disassembled and replaced or restored. The researchers worried that there could be a leak within the tomb that led them to unseal it. When the tomb was opened, it was done in a highly specific, careful manner, as archaeologists predicted lifting the entrance would fracture it. According to the assistant professor of civil engineering, Haris Mouzakis, we had to be very careful. It was not just a tomb we had to open. It was the tomb of Jesus Christ that is a symbol for all of Christianity, and not only for them, but for other religions. Mouzakis claims that the restoration has gone successfully and will preserve the shrine for another 500 years or so. The Nazareth inscription. The Nazareth inscription is one of the most recognized Christian relics. It's a Greek marble tablet upon which sits the Nazareth decree, written supposedly by an unnamed individual of the Caesar line. The decree asserts that tomb robbing or destruction is punishable by the highest means, and was initially dated to the 1st century AD. The Louvre currently possesses the 24 by 15-inch Nazareth inscription. Despite never mentioning Jesus Christ, it has come to be known as a staple Christian relic. Despite its name pertaining to Nazareth, researchers found that it likely originated in Kos, a Greek island. This has shaken the Christian community and put doubt into whether any connection exists between the tablet and Christianity at all. Historians have since suggested that the inscription may have been about the tomb of Nicias, a Greek tyrant, and dated to 20 BCE instead of early AD. Investigations have proven it could have been created any time between 50 BCE and 50 AD. Of its known history, in 1878, the tablet was purchased by Wilhelm Frühner in Nazareth itself. Frühner sent the tablet to Paris. This means that although the tablet was in Nazareth, it likely had not been found there, but rather was sold there, as at the time Jerusalem had a booming relic and antiquities marketplace. The text also refers not to the one Christian God, but to plural gods, and further lessening its likelihood to truly have anything to do with the faith. Another reason why it's unlikely that the Nazareth tablet is from Nazareth is the lack of marble in Jerusalem. If it was made there, the marble would have been imported. However, the Greek dialect, archaeologists have found, is not fluent. Therefore, its origins, to this day, remain a mystery. Evidence Noah's biblical flood happened. Christians, historians, and archaeologists have all yearned to uncover whether there is any truth behind the biblical tale of Noah's Ark for millennia. Now, an archaeologist believes he has uncovered the truth behind the mythical happening, claiming its presence in the Bible was based on a real-life flood. Underwater archaeologist Robert Ballard has stated he and his researchers uncovered the evidence of Noah's Ark near the coast of Turkey in the Black Sea. Originally, the team was searching for lost ancient civilizations beneath sea level. Robert Ballard was one of those responsible for the impeccable discovery of the Titanic. According to Ballard, 12,000 years ago, that part of the world was covered in ice. When that ice began to melt, the sea levels rose significantly, flooding major parts of the world. Students of the University of Columbia suggested that there was only one flood in the Black Sea region. That thousands of years ago, the Black Sea was nothing more than a lone freshwater lake in the midst of hills and meadows, until a terrible flood from the Mediterranean Sea covered those meadows and all that land, expanding the sea level and creating the Black Sea as it is now known. Ballard was taken by the theory and set out to investigate. The team found an ancient shoreline 400 feet below the sea level, evidence to prove that the Black Sea suffered, at some point in its history, a massive flood. The fossils located near this flooded shoreline revealed it occurred about 7,000 years ago. slotting perfectly with the time frame Christian scholars believe Noah's Ark happened. Ballard's theory is that word of mouth of the terrible flood, which would have been abrupt and unexpected, passed generationally until finally being recorded and added to the Bible. Because many aspects of the biblical tale seem impossible, such as Noah's extraordinary life expectancy of several hundred years, it's considered more probable that the Black Sea flood inspired the story rather than as a direct account of what happened, though it remains a mystery still. Some scholars pose that Noah's Ark might have been further inspired by the ancient epic of Gilgamesh. Eric Klein, a biblical archaeologist, claims the earlier Mesopotamian stories are very similar, where the gods are sending a flood to wipe out humans. There is one man they choose to survive. He builds a boat and brings on animals and lands on a mountain and lives happily ever after. I would argue that it is the same story. It's uncertain whether Noah's Ark, as the Bible records it, actually happened, but Ballard's discovery proves that there were devastating floods in that same period of time, and that people did struggle to keep their communities afloat and alive. Ballard's research found many fragments of antique pottery and a sunken ship. There, the team uncovered a molar and femur bone. The entire wreck was extremely well preserved as a result of the little oxygen in the Black Sea, where life struggles to exist. As such, decay rapidly slows in its depths. Unfortunately, the ship was only dated to about 500 BCE, nowhere near the 7,000-year mark that would signify the right flood. Ballard, however, is determined to keep investigating the region to uncover more evidence and to get to the bottom of the truth. He asserts the deep sea is the largest museum on Earth.